Oh, I'm feeling the creative resistance. Here's the Artist Way week 1. The creative block is strong with this one. I need a Yoda voice. Someone teach me how to do a Yoda voice. There's got to be a YouTube channel with this. Up until a few months ago, I'd never even heard of the Artist Way before. And weirdly, a couple of different friends, totally unrelated, had mentioned the book to me. I think that, coupled with embarking on a new creative journey, it actually felt like it was all a bit of a sign to give it a go. This is more than just a book. It's almost like a 12-week course. So each week you have got lots of reading to do, and there are 10 tasks at the end of each chapter. This is on top of tasks that you're expected to do every day. An amazing friend of mine actually has brought together a group of women, and we're all doing it together. We are all over the world. We've got a WhatsApp group to help keep us all accountable. Really enjoying it. Actually, the group is really active, sharing thoughts and opinions on each chapter, keeping ourselves accountable on our morning pages, on our artist date, and any of the tasks that we've got to do weekly. It's really amazing hearing about all of these women's experiences and feelings and how it's going for them. I think it's helped keeping us all on track, but it's actually making it really enjoyable. I could not have picked a worse week to get started on this, honestly. I'm so busy. I've got a number of projects on. We're traveling at the end of the week back home to see family. I did at times feel a little overwhelmed and feel like, what, is this the right time? But to be honest, there's never a good time to commit yourself to these things, and it's probably the time that I need to do it the most. Gonna try to stay committed. Also, I think by shooting these videos, it's gonna help me keep me on track, keep me committed to actually completing it. So I found the first few chapters really hard to read. I don't know if it was just feeling really tired and having lots of work on, but I struggled to get through them. I actually bought this book twice. So I bought a hard copy, and then I bought an audio book, and I actually found listening to the audio book on 2x speed just really kind of helped me get through those initial pages. So in the introduction, Julia Cameron establishes that this has worked with thousands and thousands of artists over the years. So she says that you need to acknowledge the existence of creative energies, and in this book she's going to teach you how to tap into them. So each week there will be tasks and activities to do. The basic tools covers 2 things, and these are things that you have to do throughout the full 12-week program and beyond. And so the first is morning pages, and the second is artist date. So your morning pages are the very first thing that you do when you wake up. You roll out of bed, you put pen to paper, and you basically write. You write 3 pages of a stream of consciousness. Just get all of your thoughts down on paper, empty that brain before the start of the day. So you are not to reread these pages or to show anyone. These pages are to teach you to stop judging yourself and just write. If you can't think of anything to write, it doesn't matter, write that. All you've got to do is just write. I'll be totally honest, like there have been days where I've been like, this is really pointless. I don't know what to write. Nothing's coming to mind. I'm hungry. I'm gonna have this for breakfast. Other days, it's a little more inspired. Sometimes my are reading like a diary. Sometimes it's getting my frustrations out on paper. Sometimes it's just a bit of a to-do list. I definitely am writing a lot of, I need to do this, I need to do that. Yeah, it tells you a lot about where my mind's at. Everything's a damn to-do list. I honestly thought, as somebody with a really strong internal monologue, this would be really easy, but actually I found it extremely difficult to write. I think I've got a challenge as well. I'm not necessarily doing it the second I wake up, which I might try and change. My problem is I'm already up at 5:30 every morning for training before the kids wake up, and then I've got kids and getting them ready for school. So, it kind of tends to be just before I start my work day. So I don't know if it's just not quite as effective. Maybe I'm already too distracted by that point. As someone who loves to feel really productive, I'm finding this a bit of a waste of half an hour. And yes, it's taking me a full half an hour to write these pages. And I'll be really honest, my hand hurts. I'm not used to writing anymore. And writing 3 pages, your wrist hurts. How we used to do this in the olden days when we used to do exams and have to sit in exam halls for like 2 to 3 hours and write that entire time. So this is one of the exercises that she insists on keeping up for the full 12 weeks. I'm feeling a lot of resistance towards it, but I'm pretty committed to keeping it up, and luckily I've got my amazing group of women keeping me accountable. So next up is the artist date. This is very simply where once a week you take yourself out, just you on your own, for an artist date. this ideally needs to be something that unlocks creativity in you. It can be something as small as going for a walk to going to an art gallery. My artist date for this week was actually going to Muji and buying some really cute stationery items, loads of coloured pens and notebooks so I can journal this whole process, make lots of notes and hopefully feel really inspired. Okay, I'm going to admit, whilst I am mildly panicking about where I'm going to find the time to do these artist dates, I'm actually really looking forward to them. The thought of being able to spend half an hour indulging in something inspiring, something creative just for myself feels like a real luxury. So week 1 was all about recovering your sense of safety. So she introduces shadow artists. Now, shadow artists are people who are creative but have been living in the shadows, people who haven't reached creative fulfillment, who aren't doing anything with their creativity, who maybe watch from the sidelines, admire those who can live a more creative life. One quote that really got me in week 1 was, "Judging your early artist's efforts is artist abuse." This quote hit me so hard. I am my own worst critic, for sure. And, you know, even putting these videos on YouTube, I look at them and I'm like, they're just not good enough. And it's something I'm really working on getting over. This critique needs to stop. Mistakes are necessary for getting better. It is impossible to get better and look good at the same time. So this chapter also explores your core negative beliefs and where they come from, how you can turn them into positive beliefs, and then turn them into creative affirmations. So there were 10 tasks at the end of the chapter. Now, you don't actually have to complete all 10 tasks. To be honest, they would all be massively time consuming to try and do them all. She says to pick the ones that you're most adverse to and that you're most excited about. Any that just make you feel a little bit meh, then you should just leave for now. So of the 10, I did my morning pages. I did my artist date. I did 5 imaginary lives, and this is where you write down 5 alternative lives. And to be honest, I think I took this a little bit too far or went a bit too creative on it, because 2 of those lives that aren't even possible. One was time traveling back to ancient Egypt and living as a pharaoh. The other was going to the future and like living on a different planet. I can't even remember what I wrote. I think the others were marine biologists and diving and saving the oceans. One exercise I actually really struggled with was the 3 enemies to the creative self and the 3 champions to the creative self. And this is where you kind of look back in time and see, you know, when there were people who maybe stifled your creativity and the scenarios, what those scenarios were and what they said to you. And times when people championed your creativity, who were those people, what did they say to you, and what was that encouragement? I struggled with this just because I struggled to recall, even though I know that there have definitely been times for both. I think as the weeks progressed, others kind of different scenarios have popped into my mind. But yeah, it was something that I struggled with and something I need to think a little bit more on. So week 1 recap. It's a lot more work than initially expected. I am really hoping as it progresses, I get some amazing creative unlocks. And I think overall, look, I am pretty determined to keep going. I'm optimistic. I've heard amazing things. And I've got the most amazing group of women keeping me accountable. So yeah, it's set up for success really, not for failure. Let's see how it goes. So I'll check in next week with end of week 2, let you know how I'm getting on, how things are progressing. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye.